Welcome back to the Art of Math. Today we're going to go over some ratio problems. So part A will be, we have dogs and cats that are in a ratio of 5 to 4 and cats and cows that are in a ratio of 3 to 2. There are 300 cows. How many dogs are there? This is just, I wrote this out in a little shorthand. Okay, so first step is let's introduce some variables. D will be dogs, C will be cats, C will be cows. Wait, we already used C. So when you encounter this issue, give it another letter. I like to use a letter that relates to the words. So since cows has a W for cows, I put a W here. So you could do something else. You could call this Q, P, whatever. All right. This just helps me remember what I'm working with better. So now we set up our information. So D to C is 5 to 4. That's our first piece of information. But this is in equation form now. And C to W, C over W, is 3 to 2 or 3 over 2. So the colons turn into fractions. So now all we're going to do for this first part is solve this using substitution. So we're given that there are 300 cows. So we're going to plug, instead of W, we're going to use 300. So we have C over 300 is 3 over 2. So before we even solve anything, here's basically our strategy. We know W is 300, so we're going to use that to find C. Once we find C, we're going to plug that into here, and then we're going to find D. So we're basically going boop, boop. We're taking a little trail. All right, so that's important to keep in mind, is like, what's the order that we're, like the high level strategy. So by solving this ratio for C, we're gonna put the 300 over here. So we just move the 300 over, and here I have 300 times 3 over 2, and here I have 900 over 2, which you can simplify to 450. Well, that's great, but I've written fail here because I was just seeing if you guys remember to simplify before multiplying. So actually this is really bad. I don't want you guys doing this. Why not? Because we multiplied before simplifying. So down here is the better way to do it. So first simplify the 300 with the 2 to get 150, and then multiply that by 3 to get 450. You may think it doesn't make a big difference here, but in general, if you're multiplying like 327 times 519, you don't want to do that first. You want to always simplify first. So just a little bit of a reminder. Okay, so we found that there are 450 cats, not cows. Remember, C means cats. All right, now we're just going to, like we said, we're going to plug this into that first equation. Boom, over here. So D over 450, that's the same equation, is 5 over 4. We do the same thing, move the 450 over, simplify. So I've simplified the 450 with the 4, divided each by 2, so that's where these two numbers showed up. So the 4 became a 2, the 450 became a 225. And now we multiply this out, we get 1125 over 2, which is 562.5 dogs. And because I've designed the problem in kind of a random, poor way, but also kind of to teach you guys a lesson, I put this little strange face with a question mark because I'm not sure how you can have half a dog. Well, let's not go there. All right, so the point I'm trying to make here is always have your common sense hat on. This seems a little strange. So if you had a sensible problem and you got this, that would be a good clue that you should check over your work, because you probably can't have half a dog. All right, so now let's go to part B. All right, so this is going to be the same as part A, except instead of having 300 cows, we're going to have 300 animals in total. So we're going to set this up similarly. D to C is 5 over 4, C over W is 3 over 2. Now, we are what are we trying to do? We are the question's the same. How many dogs are there? So this condition, 300 animals total, is going to be our sort of first starting point. So let's go over there. That's going to be D plus C plus W is 300. So the strategy is, this is our reference point. We're going to work off of this. So, but notice we have all of these variables. We don't want all these variables. Let's say all of these were C's, then we would have 3C is 300 and C is 100. That would be nice, but they're not all C's. So we want to pick a letter and stick to it. So let's say we're going to make all of them D's or C's or W's. By looking at these equations, so let's go over here. First I'm going to cross multiply. So I'm going to have 4D is 5C, 2C is 3W, and that's what I've written here. Because the C appears in both, I'm going to choose C as that reference point. So C is going to be like the middle one or my reference variable. This would work almost equally well if you picked D or W and converted everything to D's or W's, but it would be a little more work because, for example, if you want to turn a W into a D, first you got to get it into a C and then you got to get into a D, whereas it's only one step from a D to a C and one step from a W to a C. So that's why I want to pick the middle one so there's kind of less stuff to do. All right, so that's our first kind of strategy. We're going to pick C as our reference point. So C is going to stay a C. And now we're going to replace the D's and W's with our substitutions. So from here we could see if 4D is 5C, then D must be 5/4 of C, just divide by 4. From here, 3W is 2C, so divide by 3. W is 2C over 3, or 2/3 of C, same thing. So now we're going to replace our D's and W's with these. So that's where we got these. So now we're going to add these up, and now we're all in C's, right? All these variables are C's, so this should be fairly simple to do. So that's equal to 300, and now we're going to annihilate fractions. Well, you could make this a common denominator of 12, and then keep them as fractions for a little bit, but I really hate working with fractions. It leads to a lot of errors, so I recommend getting rid of them whenever, most of the time. All right, so we're going to annihilate fractions, and here's my unsuccessful skull and bones picture, and I've written a fail because that looks kind of comical. They look like little short limbs instead of a scary skull and bones. So we were supposed to annihilate, but I guess one of the themes of this series is how Ilya's diagrams and drawings fail and suck. All right. Anyway, so we're going to annihilate these fractions, but hopefully this little tangent helps you guys remember to annihilate the fractions. So the 4 and the 3, we don't like those. Let's get rid of them. So we're going to multiply everything through by the least common multiple, which is 12. So 12 times 5 over 4, the 12 and the 4 will simplify, so 12 over 4 is 3. So that's where we get this 15 because that's the 3 times the 5, so 15C. The 12 is going to directly impact that C, so that's 12C, and the 12 times the 2/3, the 12 and 3 will simplify to 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So that's where we got these three numbers. So basically like a wave, that 12 came and affected everything, and don't forget to multiply the right side by it as well. Now, a little trick of the trade, I'm not even going to multiply this 12 into the 300 yet because we're being lazy. Because who knows, maybe in a later step something will end up simplifying, so why bother doing this work? That's actually a really good tip for you guys. Alright, so let's add this up. 35C is 12 times 300. Again, we're not even multiplying yet. I know you're tempted to, but don't do it. So C is going to be 12 times 60 over 7. Take a look. The 35 just simplified with the 300. We divided both by 5. So that's why this turned into a 7, and that turned into a 60. So we moved it over, and B, we simplified it. So that's where we get this. And you could multiply this out. It's going to be... So C is 12 times 60 over 7. I'm just going to leave it as that. We're not interested in our cats, though. We're interested in the dogs, which is 5/4 of C. So that's where this 5/4 came from. 5/4 times that whole messy thing will be, if you simplify, so notice the 12 and the 4 simplifying. So by not multiplying immediately, we're going to do less work. So 12 over 4 is 3. If you multiply all this out, you should get 900 over 7, which simplifies to 120 and 4/7 dogs. Again, I don't know what's with, I made up the problem, so I guess the numbers are weird in fractions. So ignore that aspect. This is just to show you the procedure. No animals were hurt in the making of this video. So yeah, don't dwell on this fact. But however, if you do get fractional numbers for a problem where it should be whole numbers, like with humans or animals, you should be a little, you should hesitate a little bit and make sure you did the calculations correctly. So I'll leave it at that. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'll see you guys in the next few videos. Bye.